These are the ATH M50X headphones, and believe it or not, I wear these 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I've been doing it for years. But we're not going to talk about these, well, at least not too much today. We're going to be talking about these. The Emotiva Airmotive GR1. I'm going to give you my thoughts and review, so stick around. Hi, I'm Bob, and you are in the United States of Analog. And we're going to talk about the GR1 from Emotiva. Still available on the Emotiva website for $199, though I think probably, and I'm only guessing, there's probably going to be some kind of refresh or new model on the way, because this has been out for a couple of years now. But it's kind of new to me, and I wanted to give you my thoughts and impressions. But first, let's do a little housekeeping. You could do me a huge solid by liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell. Commenting is all important. Give me suggestions. Tell me what you think, what your favorite headphones are. Or send me $1 million and I'll just go away completely. Whatever is easiest for you.
$1 million.
Do that, okay? But you'd be helping me out. We're trying to grow this channel right now, and any help you could give us is certainly appreciated. Now, right now, let's take a look at some glamour shots of the GR1 as we talk about some of the specs. Now, the frequency response is 23 hertz to 24.5 kilohertz. Not too shabby. 32 ohm sensitivity, efficiency 106 dB. Each ear cup has a separate high-quality 2.5 audio input connector, and I want to talk about that in a minute. The body is this beautiful natural ash wood. It's pretty dark. It's pretty dark wood, but once you get down into the weeds and really take a look, you can see some nice grain in there. But you got to have the right light, and it's pretty nice. And the headphones have a real solid feel. Now, one of the highlights for me is this amazing grill. This design is described as semi-open. I don't know what the difference is between semi-open and semi-closed. You'll have to put it in the comments below. I'm going to call them semi-open, though. Vegan leather ear cups, which are, I don't know if you can see it here, but they're kind of contoured. You see that? Which is nice. But they are a little bit of a sweat magnet when you wear them for long periods of time, even though they are perforated. So there is some airflow going through there. The headband is also perforated, which is a nice touch. So it has a real solid feel. There's some metal parts in here, not too plasticky. And you've got the right-left designations in each ear cup there, you know, in case you get confused. One of the biggest features, well, one of the things, I have a love-hate relationship with the cable. The cable is about 6 feet long. It doesn't feel to me like it's lives up to the quality of the headphone itself. It's kind of thin. It's got that zebra pattern, which I don't really understand how that fits in with the aesthetics. I mean, these are small things. The one thing I really don't like about it, in some of my listening sessions, I've noticed some microphonics with this cable, some noise coming through here. And that happens with a lot of headphones, but I really noticed it with the Emotivas. So I think one of the first things you might want to do when you get these headphones is find a really good high quality replacement. But I'll tell you what I do like about this 6-foot cable. Plugging it in is super satisfying. Listen to this. Oh man, that is satisfying. Did you hear that? I just love doing that. They got little metal receivers there, whatever. I don't know what you would call that, and it goes right in there. I'm making too much of that, but I could do that all day. I just love that snap. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so, you know, good marks and bad marks for the cable. It is what it is. If you don't enjoy it, find a replacement. Now, some of the, we're going to put it through its listening tests here in just a second. Some of the headphones we're going to be using to compare it against here in my collection. Well, I'm gonna set my ATH, and I have 2 pairs of ATH M50Xs. I've got these beautiful metallic orange, kind of longhorn orange, appropriate for Austin, and these are the ones I use. So I have a backup pair, and I have these that I use on my radio show. I'm a little too close to these. So, and one of the interesting things is I never listen to music at home on my work headphones. Isn't that weird? I have like a division of church and state, and I don't know why, but that's the way it is. And it would take me hours and hours of therapy to figure out why I don't wear my work headphones at home. So I'm going to set those aside. I'm too close to them. In general, the ATH50 are very clear, very defined, very comfortable. I've modified the pads. I've gotten aftermarket pads, at least on one of the pairs there. And they've served me well and would probably be pretty good for home listening. And maybe some of you are using them for home listening. I see them in recording studios all the time in documentaries and things like that. So they're a good headphone, but I'm not going to be looking at those today. What I will be looking at and comparing the Emotiva GR1s to, though, are my Sennheiser HD650s right here. Right here. Now, I've been a Sennheiser fan for quite a while, since the 70s, and maybe sold some Sennheisers back in my day as a stereo salesman. Summer job during college. My wife gave me these about 3 years ago as a Christmas present, and I got to be real careful here. Let me just say this about the Sennheiser HD650s. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, they're a hot mess. All right? They're a hot mess. I had high hopes, but these have never connected with me, and I've tried them with all kinds of different amps. I've tried them with Techniques. I've tried them with Macintosh. I've tried them with Name. I've tried them with Jolita. I've tried them with everything I've thrown everything against the wall to try to make these sound good. My best description of the sound, and maybe it's just me, your mileage may vary. It's like somebody put a warm, wet blanket over my head and then put the headphones over the blanket. Sound is dull, unexciting, no sparkle. Yeah, you can listen to these for hours. They're non-fatiguing. Well, what could possibly fatigue you? There's no sparkle. There's no high end, in my opinion. Again, these are my ears. These are my listening conditions, my equipment, but a hot mess. They're a hot mess. And you know what I wish? I was thinking about this today. You know what I wish Sennheiser would do? Because they were a great company. They're based in Germany. They have factories, I think, in Dublin or in Ireland. I have nothing against Sennheiser. I have other Sennheisers in the house. I wish, and Sennheiser, if you're listening, or Sennheiser, bring back the HD 414s.
Music from the heavens.
The 414s. I love those headphones. Remember those headphones from the 70s with the shot glass? Look, it's like this. They were like shot glasses. And then they were white and they had yellow foam, or they were black and they had blue foam. They look like little shot glasses. Those things, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I love those headphones. And I would be first in line to grab a reissue of those. They're way expensive on the secondary market. I've seen them as high as like $400, $500 on the secondary market, and that's not even new old stock, that's just used. So there was something magical about the HD 414s. And Sennheiser, if you want to redeem yourself in my eyes, bring back the HD 414 and I'll be a happy camper. But we're not talking about that. We're going to put the Sennheisers away because it's no contest. The Emotivas best them. The other headphones I brought out, because they're super comfortable and I love wearing them, and I've modified these to kind of look a little like a Sennheiser 414 with aftermarket yellow pads. The SR80E from Grado Labs right here in the good old USA. These things are a joy to listen to. They're not that expensive. I don't know what the retail is now. I'm probably way under $200. They're somewhere in that $100 to $150 range, I think. There may be a different model now, but the SR80E, lightweight, comfortable, and just a joy to wear. Do they beat out the Emotiva? I don't think so. The Emotivas have a very full sound. I don't know if it's detail. It's still lush. It's non-fatiguing. The headphones have a little bit of weight, but they are comfortable. Here, I'll model them for you. There. They stay on pretty. They're not going anywhere, but they're not super clampy either. So I think that's partly due to the contoured ear pads. But you know, the only real complaint I have about wearing them, and we'll get into the sound signature in a second, is, and maybe it's because I'm a DJ, not a club DJ, but a radio DJ, and I'm used to having headphones that have a little bit of twist. I don't need them to go all the way around and put them behind my ear and do that waka waka, you know. I don't need that. But I just find myself doing this a lot, stressing them. They don't twist at all. So if you have an odd head shape, and maybe I do, if you don't know anybody with an odd head shape, it's probably you. Yeah, I just have a tendency to want to turn them. I mean, these go any way your head wants to go. Obviously the Audio-Technicas do. Not too much. You still get a little spin going with so another half a point for the Sennheisers. So before we get too far, I should tell you that the transducer is a dynamic type. It is low mass. It's a polycarbonate construction with some graphene infused inside. I don't know what that means. I'm not a scientist. I'll say it again, but I'll go to ChatGPT and ask it, what is graphene? All right, graphene is a remarkable form of carbon consisting of a single layer of carbon atoms arranged in a two-dimensional honeycomb lattice. It is incredibly thin, strong, flexible, and conducts electricity and heat exceptionally well. So now you're in the know. I don't know what that does to help this headphone, but it must be doing something right. All right, so for my listening tests, I used a myriad of amps. I used the fantastic Jacques Labs Archel Pro, which I just got, and I'm going to be doing a full review of that very shortly in the next few days, or within the next week to be sure. I used the Macintosh MHA100, a little overkill because that's something that probably retailed between $3,000 and $4,000 when it came out. I also used a Schiit Magni 3 Heresy, which I believe is their kind of op-amp, small headphone amp. And I used the iPhone as well. So those were the amps that I used. As far as my test tracks, I went real kind of rock and roll. I was looking for stuff with dynamics and texture. Dire Straits, Private Investigations is one of my favorite test tracks, especially because it I just wanted to check this here. At 5 minutes and 44 seconds, 5 minutes and 44 seconds in, you hear like this guitar tone that Mark Knopfler does that sounds like a cat wailing, and then way off into the distance, you hear a bottle being broke on the street. But it's really faint, and it's really in the distance. I can't remember if it's on the left or the right side. And if you've got any piece of equipment that can pick that up, any headphone or speaker or car stereo, well, you're going in the right direction if you can. It's so faint, and it's just that little bit of sparkle. I always look for that, but that's one of my favorite test tracks. I also picked Mudcrutch, which is Tom Petty's band, Dreams of Flying, because of all the layered guitar that Mike Campbell does in there. And Chitlin's Con Carne by the great Kenny Burrell, who was a huge influence on Stevie Ray Vaughan, who was an influence on a lot of people. So one of the great jazz tracks of all time, Chitlin's Con Carne, and those were the ones that I used for this test. I can tell you that that's a lot of guitar music. You got Mark Knopfler, you got Kenny Burrell, and you've got Mike Campbell of Mudcrutch. The guitar tone is super, super smooth and super round with the GR1. I was super impressed. The mid-range, the guitar tone, everything in that mid-range was pretty good. Not as, and you know, my hearing, let's be honest, I'm a man of a certain age. You can call it middle age, upper middle age, whatever you want to call it. Like most reviewers of my age, I'm probably missing a little bit of high end. Also, my ears might be shaped different than yours or whatever. So when I say that the Emotiva lacked a little bit of sparkle, take that with a grain of salt. But I was able to compensate for that with the Jacques Labs Archel Pro, which was really nice. And again, I'll do a full review, but I'll say that the tone controls on that baby are nice, because I was able to put that treble control right at about, what would you call it, 1 o'clock, and got that treble, got those cymbals coming in. Everything was right with the GR1 combined with the Jacques Archel 3 Pro. Separation is fantastic. I don't know if I got a lot of depth of sound. I was getting a lot of left-right. Particularly on that Mike Campbell track, that Mudcrutch track, I was hearing more of Mike Campbell's guitars than I've probably ever heard before. In fact, I didn't realize there's like 3 or 4 or 5 guitars going at the same time in different spaces in the sound field. So that came across really well. Separation was good, dynamics were good, guitar tone was round and juicy and grainy and granular. I even put on, just as a second test, I even put on Little Wing by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and the detail was coming through loud and clear. You could hear Stevie Ray's tubes and his amp kind of burning or humming. I don't know what they were doing. At first I thought there was something wrong with the headphone or the app, but it's actually, you can actually hear Stevie Ray's amp, and you can hear the room with the GR1. So that's my impression. I'm not getting that warm blanket sound. I am getting a lot of mid-range. I'm getting some highs. I'm getting good separation. $200, you can't go wrong. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Emotiva. You'll love the design. You'll love holding it in your hand. You'll love doing this. You'll love it. You'll just love, where is it? You want to try it, Dylan? You want to try it? Tell me if that's satisfying.
Oh yeah.
Oh, oh yeah.
It's like perfectly linear.
It's like perfect. It's just like, you're like, oh man, that's it can come out. If you step on the cord, it's going to come out, but it's like, that's snug. That's one of the best features. So anyway, again, available on the Emotiva website, $199. They're still available. Get them while you can. For $200, you probably have some other options, but give the Emotiva GR1, the Airmotive GR1, consideration when you're looking for headphones. Avoid the Sennheiser HD 650, and if you happen to be in radio or a recording artist, get the Audio-Technica ATH M50X. And you know what? While you're out on the street, this is what you want to be. You want to be sporting these. Hey, I'm Bob. You've been in the United States of Analog. Thanks for being here, and thanks for supporting my channel. We'll talk to you soon. Now here's that headphone trick I alluded to at the beginning of the video. All right, it's kind of weird, all right, but I noticed it. So one of my favorite things to do is listen to a headphone setup when I'm in bed, when I'm going to sleep. And one of the things that I noticed, number one, I can listen at a lot lower volume when the lights are off. So I keep the volume really low, I put the headphones on, I lay back. I don't know if I'm gonna fall asleep or how long I'm gonna listen to music before I fall asleep. I don't know. But there is a moment somewhere, and I don't know what we can call it, if we can call it the twilight sleep or whatever. There is a moment just before you fall asleep or start to fall asleep where all the senses in your body are starting to shut down and your hearing gets really intense. Even if you're playing the headphones at a really low volume, I've noticed there's maybe 1 or 2 songs at that time that you notice everything is clearer, the separation, the music becomes 3D. And I don't know what it is. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I don't know. But I can tell you that for me, it's real and it's pure magic. It only lasts for a second. It's kind of a high. Try it for yourself. Let me know in a future video or in a future comment if it worked for you, or hit me up, send me a message, send up a smoke signal. I don't care, try it. It works. It's amazing and a little weird.